Okay, so basically, we were talking about in the previous lesson, we were talking about the different organisms which are supposed to be in the kingdom Animalia, but phylum Chordata or Vertebrata. The Chordata or Vertebrata basically means that these are those organisms which eventually um, be separated from the rest of the organisms on the basis of the backbone. They are present on the basis of the backbone, and they are classified. And then we said that there is a next group in these organisms where now we would when we would classify the next group of these organisms, our kingdom currently our kingdom would remain same. Our kingdom would be Animalia, but the phylum would now change. The phylum could be changed um, into, you can say, one of the four names. The first name that we discussed in the previous class was annelids. The real name of this phylum is Annelida. Then there is another phylum that we are about to discuss. Basically, that phylum we also discussed last time. It is called as Nematoda, or maybe there is another name for it. There is another name for this particular group, but yes, you can say that this the phylum's name is Nematoda. And then there is another phylum called as Mollusca. And then the last ones are the Arthropoda. Um, if I tell you the detail of our syllabus basically discusses only, like you can say, one representative organism of these three groups. In this, we studied about the earthworm.
Sorry, one second. So three, I'm trying to note down. I can't get the spelling. What is it? Mollusca.
Mollusca, mollusca.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
So, and in nematoda, we discuss, I guess, the hookworm. Yes, the hookworm. And I told you that this group is basically notorious for the parasitic organisms. The parasites are those which would harm the organism on which they depend. So these are the parasitic organisms, and the nematodes are is a nematoda is a notorious group. You can say that many kids have, if I tell you correctly, they have the worms in their intestines, and those worms mostly belong to the phylum Nematoda. They mostly belong to the phylum Nematoda, and the phylum Nematoda basically is notorious for these kinds of different parasitic worms. Okay, just hold on. I was just trying to. Uh, yes, let me just. Okay, so now if I tell you correctly, the next group is the mollusca. The mollusks is a group which you can say that they are literally, this name literally means the soft ones. The soft ones. The soft ones does not mean that they are harmless, but yes, apparently they are soft ones. They are the ones which appear like very with a very soft body. But yes, you have to, after proper classification, you have to admit that this group has one of the most important types of organization. You can say that it is quite strange that a group like this has complete organ formations. Like the organisms are very small. The organisms truly are very small, but they are very organized. Their makeup, their built up is so organized that they are one of the most successful groups in those organisms which do not contain the backbone. So that is basically most important about them. Now these three groups, if you talk about these three groups, they have these differing features. You can just differentiate between them. Let's suppose if you want to differentiate annelids with nematodes, it would be the visibility of segments. Then movement of annelid is using kita, or some people say cheetah, but basically it's kita. The nematodes, they wriggle, they crawl or wriggle. They live in one place, like they don't go place to place, and they can creep on foot. And the interesting part is that they almost like creep on their belly. So their movement is also like creeping. Feeding method, they are herbivores, they are mainly parasites, and they are mainly herbivores and some carnivores. So you have some of the features that differing with each other. Now, about the third group, arthropods. Arthropods. In mollusca, I gave you the example of snail. Let's have a small look at the snail, then we'll get back to the arthropoda. The snail, you can see there are eye on the tentacles. They have eyes not attached to their body. Remember, their eyes are not attached to their bodies. Or you can say they are attached to their bodies, but not like on the head. They are present on the tentacles, and then they mouth parts to scrape at vegetation. Scrape. What is the meaning of scraping? Scraping, like uh, you can say just pulling off, pulling off. They don't have that much efficient of teeth. Then they have foot muscle with slimy covering. So they don't have any bony foot. They have muscles as feet. Muscles as feet. So snail is the representative organism. Now coming to the next group, the syllabus basically. Now this is basically the next group is class. Remember that we are not supposed to be talking about any class in any of these particular groups, but yes, we would be talking about three different classes in arthropoda, or maybe four. Number one is crustacean, and this is one of the most important topic related to the final papers. Crustaceans. Then there are like uh, insects, or you can also mention it as insecta. Then there are arachnids. I might have also told you this in the previous class. And then there are, after arachnids, there are myriapods. So we will be talking about one by one about them. And the most important thing about these is you have to be very careful while looking at these features. You know why? Because their features basically are going to be used by the they are going to be used by the Cambridge in CIEs to distinguish between or to make a dichotomous key. Like most of the time, these features are being used by the CIEs for the P1. I'm sorry, P2. The P2, which is an MCQ paper. In MCQ paper, they would be presenting an organism, and maybe they would ask you a question like they may ask you a question like a dichotomous key, or they would may ask you to recognize that particular organism. So that's not very difficult. that's quite easy. But the most important part about it, that if you remember the characters correctly, you will be able to identify them. So I will also be opening some of the questions. Yes, some of the questions, so that we can just have a look at these kinds of questions, like how do they appear. So this is a kind of that question, but binomial system MCQ, and there are some other questions. I'm just trying to find out the question that I was talking about. These are the questions from 2023 different seasons, like summer or winter. There's a particular picture. Now with this picture, you must be identifying that how you would classify this. There are going to be some options here. So you have to be very particular about the characters that are mentioned in the book. Suppose they are saying that, hold on, they are saying that this organism, there is an organism shown. Which visible feature can be used to classify this organism as bird? Now, there could be uh, like wings, but the problem is we have also talked about in the previous lesson that the wings are also present in the bats.
So would it be
And maybe,
feathers?
yes, the correct answer is feathers. I was just deliberately moving from D to A. You cannot use two legs. I'm sorry, I just got it. Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay, I was sharing my screen. Okay, so as I was saying, now there is like wings, legs, lays eggs. Egg laying is not only the feature of the birds.
Yeah. So two legs can be human, wings,
Mm,
bats, and then lays eggs. Think some reptiles lay eggs, but then it would be feathers.
reptiles, insects, and even mammals. So
Yeah.
all those options are eliminated. The final option that we are left with is feathers. Obviously, the one who has done practice would select the feathers right away, but selecting an option right away is not something you would appreciate, because selecting an option right away sometime would lead you to mistake. Why? Sometime what happens that there is a statement, you are reading a statement, and when you read the statement you might miss a slight word that was an indication. Upon missing that word, you just select an option right away without eliminating the rest of the possibilities. When you do this, when you do an MCQ without eliminating the rest of the possibilities, then what is going to happen that they are basically leading you to the wrong way. So carefully reading the statement, then eliminating the rest of the option is the best way to get the correct option. So we'll get back to these questions once we are done with these organisms. We'll get back to this. Okay. Now these classes we will be studying the crustaceans. Okay, let me give you very straightforward characteristics that are universal. Like if you see these features in any paper, you can just pick the option blindly, although it is not a very good practice, but you can select this option blindly. How? See, oh, sorry. The crustaceans are always The aquatic. Okay, first of all, let's see arthropods. Ortho or orthra means joints, and poda means feet. This is the only group in the vertebrates that contains jointed feet. Jointed feet mean like this is the leg, this is the knee, and this is the now this is the joint. This is the joint. So when you have jointed feet, obviously you can move it. You can move your joint. So this kind of feature, you may see the legs in other groups as well. Yes, no doubt. That we have discussed this idea that mollusks use their muscular feet. We have discussed this idea that um, hookworm has cheta, and even there are some other cheta are also found, I guess, in the annelids. So the above three groups also have legs. There is no doubt that they have legs. Problem is they none of them has jointed legs. Joint mean that you can move it. So sometime, okay, let me make a proper profile of this particular group so that you can match it to your past papers. Sometimes they often ask that what are the common features of arthropods, all the arthropods. So number one, by their name, jointed feet. Number two, they have exoskeleton. Okay, what's the exoskeleton? What's your idea about the exoskeleton?
Exoskeleton,
Hmm. What's the exoskeleton? It's written over there.
like the outside skeleton of the organism,
Okay, so are there skeletons inside the organism somewhere?
like the covering that protects. So, like for example, backbones,
For
um,
example, sorry, repeat your example.
something like backbones, the ones that protect
Okay,
you,
okay. Remember that there are two main types of skeleton with respect to the muscles. In some skeletons have have their muscles cover them. Some skeletons are covered by muscles. And in some organism, this kind of skeleton is called as endoskeleton, and it is basically found in the human-like organisms, the mammals, birds. We have the skeleton on the inside of our skin and muscles and other tissues. The exoskeleton is the one where skeleton is outside and the muscles are on the inside. Muscles are on the inside. So that is what we often call as the exoskeleton. This is another feature. Then you would also find that they have sensory organs on antenna-like structures. Okay, and then you may also say that they are yeah, some of the features are there. We will be reading them, but these three features are always common. So jointed feet and exoskeleton. Yes. One more thing you would find them is the compound eyes. What are the compound eyes? Compound eyes are those which possess many lenses. They contain many lenses. Like, have you ever approached a fly from behind? Ever tried?
Like I've seen flies like from the behind. Yeah.
No, but ever approaching a fly from behind, maybe it would not know. It would not know that I'm moving towards the fly.
No, no, haven't done.
If you ever try it, if you ever try it, most of the time, 99 or 95% of the time, you will fail. Reason? Reason is that they almost have 360-degree view. Almost have 360-degree view because of their compound eyes. Yes, one group does not have compound eyes, and that is the spiders. Except spiders. Spiders have some more better eyes, but not compound eyes. So they have like thousands of lenses. The compound eyes have thousands of lenses. And if you want to see on the Google, you can just go and write the compound eyes of ants. You'll just see that what a beautiful formation of compound eyes is present in the ants. Okay, now these are some of few features which are common in all arthropods. Moving ahead towards the yeah, another thing you will find in them is metamorphosis. Okay, meta. Meta basically means change, and morpho. Morpho means shape. And the word osis refers to the process. It is a process of changing shape from a larva to the adult. Do you know about the pupa?
No.
Egg hatches into larva, larva turns into pupa, and pupa turns into adult. So this is the whole stage of metamorphosis in these organisms, in these particular type of organisms, the arthropods. So you will find the metamorphosis in them. This whole process is happens in very few invertebrates. Okay, the first group, crustaceans, slightly unusual. Okay, now I was about to tell you that what are those unique features that would lead you to understand, lead you to very shortcut memorization of their characteristics. Suppose crustaceans are mostly aquatic arthropods, like the organisms with jointed feet, but they are aquatic, and they have more than four pairs of legs. They have more than four pairs of legs. Insects are mostly terrestrial, but the most unique feature about the insect that they always have three pairs of legs. You know, I'm telling you those minimum features. I'm telling you those minimum features which um, you will find easy to remember. You will find easy to remember, in the exam. So first is the aquatic four pairs of legs, and insects are having three pairs of legs. Okay, the next is the next is arachnids. Arachnids always have four pairs, not more, not less. Remember, I said the crustaceans have more than four pairs. More than four pairs. Arachnids always have four pairs of legs, and myriapods they have multiple pairs. Like they can have 50 pairs, they can have 40 pairs of legs. They have multiple pairs. So let's see what we can understand from the diagrams. Number one, they are unusual. Many of their segments are tucked under their body. Yes, one more thing that you would also find very intriguing, arthropods also contain segments. Segment like rings. They also have segment like rings on their body. On their body. But their most of their segments are tucked under their body. In crustaceans, the segments are not that much visible. They are not that much visible. So let's see. First, we are talking about their exoskeleton. Their exoskeleton is a hard shell that we often name as carapace. Their exoskeleton is a hard shell, thick, hardened shell for protection against predators. So their hard shell is called as carapace. You can see over here, this is the hard shell. They have eyes, but non-compound. They don't have compound eyes. Jointed limbs are there, but they have more than four pairs. Gills. Why gills? Remember, crustaceans are mostly aquatic. And the gills are useful in doing gaseous exchange in aquatic system in underwater. Like humans and other organisms, they often are not able to breathe underwater. Even the whales cannot breathe underwater, you know. The whales cannot breathe underwater, and that is because the
They have
whales are,
to, they have to come up for air, right? Through the
yes,
what's the hole
they have
called?
to come up. I'm sorry,
What's the hole on top of the?
nostrils, nostrils.
Okay.
Those are nostrils. They just like a fountain of water. It just squirts out. Similarly, the seals, the sea lions, the dolphins, all these have lungs, but they have a very great capacity of storing the air into their lungs. So they have gills. The crustaceans have gills, and those gills are like under their shell, and they can easily perform the gaseous exchange. Okay, one more thing: hardened serrated edge to claw. Now you see one, two, three, four, one, two, three, four. This particular crab has four pairs of legs, but fifth pair. Now please be very attentive. Fifth pair is modified. Fifth pair is modified into claws. You can closely see in this picture that the fifth pair is basically modified into the claws. This was supposed to be the legs. These were supposed to be the legs, but they are not legs. They are modified to be claws, and the claws are very important in capturing the prey. They are very important in capturing the prey. Okay, then the next group, myriapods. The myriapods have antenna. They have antenna, important sense organs in the millipedes. Dark and damp environment. These antennae are there. These are mouth parts, hard exoskeleton, obviously exoskeleton, walking legs, and they have multiple walking legs, many body segments. See these segments, you can also see the segmentation in the arthropods. Previously, we found the segments in annelids. They have like this feature, it is common, not ultimately common, but it is somewhat common in annelids and arthropods. Somewhat common in annelids and arthropods. So segmentation. Okay, and they have body covering, waterproof body covering. They are living in. They almost always live in the damp environment, so their body is covered with the wax. Coming to the next group, that is insecta, most successful, beautiful group, and the most successful one. They have the body is segmented. Segments are divided into three segments: head, thorax, and abdomen. Three segments are there: head, thorax, and abdomen. Okay, now you can see this is the head, this is the thorax, and this is the abdomen. So, what is a thorax, by the way?
Um, I'm not sure. Is it like the chest?
Yes, the chest region. Thorax and abdomen are like, if you refer to human, then the part below the diaphragm is the abdomen. Okay, so they have compound eyes, they have antenna, they have mouth parts very specialized for feeding piercing by mosquitoes, and metamorphosis is there. Okay, but the most important part is their three legs. It's their three legs. Coming to the arachnids, arachnid has they have simple eyes. This is a group of spiders. They contain simple eyes. They have very powerful piercing jaws. These jaws are never to be found in other groups. Four pairs of legs, always four. And the spinneret. The spinneret produces long, thin strands of silk. This is a silk spider. This is a silk spider. It has been used to make the crosshairs in the telescope sights of rifles. So they are so strong that the silk is used there. So it is something very intriguing. They have spinnerets. So spinnerets are nowhere to be found in other kinds of organisms. So you can see over here that there are some unique and dividing features. Okay, so let's try some questions so that we can get familiar with these kinds of questions. Um, moving above, we also found some questions. Okay, uh, all right, let's start from this particular question. So first of all, okay, just hold on. Let me reshare. Okay, what about this particular question? Can you figure out what is it saying? What's the correct option?
So for the chloroplast, it can Is it possible if I can draw on the screen? Is there a feature?
Mm, do you have the pen tab?
It's fine. Okay, so photosynthesis can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the mitochondria, respiration can happen,
Yes.
and then the ribosomes, protein synthesis can happen.
Good. Very good. Okay. Now next, this is a bit technical because it is related to the topic that we have been studying in, I guess, before one or two lessons. So let's see how you can do it.
It's B. The genus is Pan.
Yes, it's B. Okay, let's see the next one. We haven't really studied about the characteristic of all organisms. So, okay, let's see this one.
I think Vulpes is genus,
Hmm.
and I think Lagopus is species, right?
How could you say this is the correct option? Like, why would you say that?
I'm not sure what Lagopus would be classified. I know that Vulpes is genus, but I don't know what
Okay.
Lagopus.
Like, how do you know that Vulpes is the genus?
Because the first word is the genus, like
Yes. Okay.
panther.
Okay. Remember that the second word is always it belongs to the species. So it's option B. Let's see the next one. All right.
Homo is genus, and sapiens is
G.
species. So B is genus.
They are only asking the genus. Hmm. Uh, some statement about the species. Did I tell you the definition of species?
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah. So let's try this MCQ.
Okay, so first three is correct. Um, One is not correct because
Mm-hmm.
you can have different genus, right?
Yes.
So one is out.
Okay.
Two members of species belong to the same genus. Yeah, so two is correct and four is correct. So B.
Good. Okay, so let's try finding out between these two the correct options in this.
Okay, so they both have vacuoles.
Hmm.
Both have cell walls.
Okay,
Both don't have chloroplasts, but they
hmm,
do have cytoplasm. So true.
good. Many questions are mostly easy and very superficial from this chapter. And okay, let's find out the answer of this one.
Um, the cell literature is like which cells have structures that so 2 and 4, but mm, wait, related cell,
The
related,
nerve cell extension is not flagella.
related.
Basically, the other part that can provide the option to move is the cilia.
Okay, so
So it's
one.
1 and 4. Hmm. I'm trying to find any question related to the dichotomous key, but I guess it's not in the first two previous years.
Is this C? That question, the one above.
The one above, this one.
No, 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 the one below, the species one. Yeah,
Okay,
the
this
C.
one is a species.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like a dichotomous key, but we haven't studied it yet. Most of the time, the different variants have same questions. Okay, let's find out this one.
Two animals have an identical sequence of I think it's C, but I'm not sure about this question.
They must be members of the same genus. They share an ancestor. These are two very closed options. Um,
But
okay.
C would be more technical and biological. D is very vague.
They must be members of the same genus because they have identical protein sequences. Yes, I guess I would also go with the C because in D, this is a very, um, let's find out. It's D. They share an ancestor. So, why is it not that they must be the members of the same genus? See, remember that although I did go with your with your option, but I also had this doubt in my mind. Remember that the being the member of same genus does mean does mean that you would have the identical sequence of proteins, no doubt. But also remember that uh, the identical sequence of protein can be found in the members belonging to other genera or other groups. Genera is the um, plural of genus. So remember that it is quite like you are you if you select the answer of this particular question as C, you are looking at the classification with a very short sight. This is a short sightedness that you say that only the members of same genera can contain the identical sequence. Sometime there is a group of organism that is very much distant, even not sharing the same generic name, not sharing the same generic name, but they do have identical protein sequence. So it means that if we say that only only sharing the same genus would make it possible for the protein sequence to be identical, we are short sighting it. Sharing a common ancestor means that there is a very wide chance of groups that can share the identical sequence of proteins. Very wide number of groups that can share the identical sequence of proteins. They may be a same genera, they may be belonging to same genera and maybe not, but they can share the same sequence. You understood it?
Yeah,
So it's like short sighting if we select the option C. Okay. Okay. All right. So discover a new species of animal. Uh, in which group, to which group of animal does this new species belong? Okay, now remember. Segmented body with two pairs of legs on each segment. Remember that having two pairs of legs in each segment, it is only possible in myriapods. Segmented body is found in all of them. They all have segments, but in myriapods, the every segment contain not one but two pairs of legs. So I told you this answer myself because we did not discuss this particular feature. Okay, let's see this one.
this one, the one on the screen.
Yeah, the one with the method of classifying animals.
Okay. Um, D.
Yes. Mm, okay, that's also a common. All right, let's see this one.
This is also B.
You selected the B for the previous answer.
No, 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 sorry. This is D and that's B, but
Hmm.
it's like the same thing.
Okay. Uh, Sorry, not this one. This one. What is the most accurate method of deciding how closely related species are?
The D.
Okay. Anatomy, morphology. Okay. Cancel. Evolutionary relationship. Base sequence of their DNA. That's the accurate one. Yes. All right. So, which two organisms are most distantly related to each other?
Um, I'm not sure about this question.
Okay, then let's leave it
Do they
because
just
we'll.
do they just mean I
Mhm.
have to basically match the letters which one has the most
Yes,
com
yes.
okay, yeah, I'm still not sure.
That's quite difficult, by the way. But it should be W and okay, W and X.
Carried out by all organisms growth, right?
Yes.
What are features of the leaf of the plant that is its diet?
Oh, that is dicotyledon. I was not. Touching a hedgehog causes it to roll into a ball to protect itself. What characteristics it's displaying?
Uh, D. Movement and sensitivity.
Well done. Obviously, that's quite easier. Okay, let's try this one.
D. Sensitivity.
Good.
It's the same question.
Yeah, these are basically different variants of the same season. That is why the questions are repeated. Okay.
D. Zedonks are not a species because they cannot be fertile offspring.
Hmm. Well done. That's again. Okay, to which group it belongs? What do we have here? We have claws, we have four pairs of legs, we have segments that are quite apparent. Okay, so to what group you think it should belong? Claws, focus on claws and four pairs of legs.
Claws and four pairs of legs.
Mhm.
Think um, crustacean
Nope, they have
or
four pairs
like
of legs. They have no carapace. The crustaceans mostly have a carapace, a very large segment of exoskeleton. They have these claws, four pairs of legs. The answer would be arachnids. A. When you find four pairs with a carapace, that is a crustacean. If you find pairs more than four, that would be a crustacean. But if you find four pairs with claws, that definitely, and no carapace, that definitely is an arachnid. Okay, which shows an organism that has been named using binomial system. That's quite straightforward.
yeah, D. Vultures, vultures.
Vulpes, vulpes. Right. Okay. The table shows the number of collected in a sample from a woodland and the groups to which they belong. Arachnid, crustacean, insect, and myriapods. How many arthropods in total in this sample have 6 or 8 legs? Remember, 6 or 8 legs. They are saying, they are not saying pairs. But you can convert it into pairs.
Um, I don't understand what they mean by the question.
They basically say that you have to sum up only those two groups, only those two groups which are in which the organisms are having 4 legs or 3 legs. So in all these 4 groups, you have 2 groups or 3 groups or all 4. You have to sum up their number, but the condition is that they must be containing uh, 6 legs or 8 legs.
Okay. So insects, arachnid.
Hmm. How many legs are there in insects?
So insects have 6 legs, right?
Oh, they have 6 legs. Okay. And arachnids?
Arachnids have uh 4 legs, right? Four or
Okay,
oh, sorry,
so
8 legs. They have 8 legs. Arachnids have 8 legs.
8 legs. Yes. So how much would it, according to your
90.
calculation,
90.
what would be the answer? Hmm?
C. C.
C. Answer is C. Yes. Okay. We'll finish, I guess, this chapter in the next class. Then we'll be doing a test. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mm.